Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Leadership Ready Room Chats. I am Brandon Jenks Jenkins here with my co-host Tom Brother Murray, and we're excited to get back this week after taking a week off last week. So the topic that is resonating with us today is leading through major change at your organization. And we're talking, I guess we could be talking about any type of change, like any type of change to the routine, what your team's comfortable with, the typical expectations of the team, the mission, what they're supposed to be producing on a daily basis, all the way up to major organizational change, which may actually change the way your entire organization or team has to operate, think, do business, what have you. So, Tom, man, what's coming up with you on this topic today?
Well, before we went live, Brandon, you touched on some previous change from our previous career fields, and so certainly I've got some thoughts around that as well. Through both of our careers in the Navy, we navigated a lot of change, and I'm navigating change right now in my organization through some restructuring, some personnel changes, and I think regardless of the type of organization or the size and scope of change, the first thing that comes to mind for me is clear communication, right? And like so many of the topics we've jumped into, communication is woven inextricably into this one as well. The importance of communicating clearly, the importance of communicating with the right tone, and communicating in a way that allows your audience, your organization to understand what's changing, why it's changing, maybe what's not changing, when things take effect. It's just so critically important. And when the leader or the carrier of the message stops communicating articulately and goes to vague language, you really risk the change getting derailed or things getting messier than they need to be. So that's the first thing that comes up for me. What about you? What's the first thing on your mind when you think about organizational change?
Yeah, well, I was thinking you have to be able to tie the change to a reason. Like, why the heck are we making this change? Is it just for change's sake, just to shake things up? That could be the reason. I mean, depends on the organization, depends on the team. But that's what came up for me was just how important it is because people don't like change. Human nature is comfort zone, right? We kind of just default to what we know. We default to what is comfortable. And change typically means we might have to break out of that comfort zone a little bit. And so in order for me, if I'm on a team, in order for me to embrace that discomfort and make the change, short of being told to do it and I'm following orders, which could work for a short amount of time, right? I want to know why I'm doing it. Why do we have to change? Because then I can connect to that deeper purpose. And so when it's uncomfortable, I can think, okay, yeah, but this is why we're doing it. This is why it's so important. And so then that's like what you were saying about clear communications, I think ties right into that. As the leader, how are you communicating this change from the very beginning so that your team has as much buy-in as they can possibly have? And it depends on what it is, what kind of change it is. Generally speaking, there's probably enough time to communicate this up front so that your team has time to absorb it, so that you can explain the purpose and help them connect with that deeper purpose. Very few instances I can think of where it's probably life or death, chaos, something like that, where, we just have to change right now or else we're going to, something really bad's going to happen. Sure. For those times, man, we just need to act immediately. But I think the vast majority of what we're talking about today is like there's some time here up front for that clear communication from you as the leader to your team to help them kind of connect, at the very minimum, connect to that deeper purpose. Um, yeah. What do you do when things are like uncertain? Like when you as the leader aren't quite sure about this change yourself yet, and like what you don't see exactly what we need to do. You just kind of know that we have to change. Like, what do you think about that?
Well, I think that most leaders will find themselves in that situation at some point, if not almost every time that change is occurring. It's rare that we have all the answers, right? Regardless of the type of organization. And so I think it's okay to admit that, right? Now, you don't want to admit that in a panic, in a frenzy. That's why tone matters. Uh, hey, team, this is what we're doing. This is why we're doing it. This is what we know. And this is what we don't know. And we're working hard to get those answers. Being honest, being human about it. And again, having a calm and confident tone while doing so something as simple as that, the way that you say the words, the tone that you use is often enough to convince your team that, oh, okay, the leader's got it. Yeah, we don't have all the answers, but the leader's got it. So admit it, Jenks. That's the short answer. And then tell your team what you're doing to resolve it, right? Like any good leader, you expect when people bring you problems, they also bring you solutions. Hey, boss, this thing happened. Here's the concerns. This is what I'm doing about it. Even if the problem's not solved, you as the leader have confidence in your team because they message something to you that way. Here's what I'm doing about it. It works both ways. You as the leader, when you're now delivering this information, this change, this problem to your team, you got to do the same thing. Here's what we know. Here's why we're doing it. Here's what we don't know. Here's how we're gathering that info. And that simple approach, I think, is often enough to keep the team moving forward in a calm manner. Yeah. What do you want to add to that?
Yeah, it's like the confidence. It's not the kind of like hubris or overconfidence that who cares? We'll just fake it till we make it. It's the confidence that, hey, even though I don't have all the answers right now and things are uncertain with this, I know we can do this. I know that we as a team can figure this out. Right. And so then with that belief, we can figure this out. We're probably going to need some help, but we can do this. That leads then, I think, to the kind of confidence that came up for me when you started, when you talked about that. Absolutely admitting, like, hey, I don't have all the answers. I've never done this. Man, this takes me back to when I was commanding officer at the squadron. We had just shifted on paper from being an expeditionary squadron, meaning the squadron of about 10 helicopters and 300 people. We stay at our home base in Florida, and we would send out 1 to 2 helicopter and 30 people detachments out on smaller ships, cruisers, destroyers. We had been doing that for 40 years. I took command after about 3 months of having on paper switched from that type of a squadron to a carrier air wing squadron where the entire squadron picks up together and goes out to the carrier. And then still from the carrier, then we still have smaller detachments on smaller ships. As the listener might imagine, that is a really completely different way for a squadron to operate. I remember before taking those orders, I really wanted to go back to this squadron. And it was in Jacksonville, Florida. I loved it. Anyway, but I remember having apprehension and just feeling the weight of that uncertainty of, I have never in my career, and I'd done multiple deployments with my squadrons, had never deployed on the carrier with a squadron. And now I was going to be the commanding officer of the squadron that was going to do that, go deploy on the carrier for the first time. Now, I wasn't going to be the CO during the deployment. So my job was to help lead them to be ready to finish workups and go on that deployment for the first time ever in over 40 years. I was really uncertain. There was some anxiety there. I just remember thinking, man, shouldn't they have put me in an expeditionary squadron? Like, did they get this right? Like, why did they put me here? And dude, I could go on and on about this, but the thing that helped me the most was the core value of humility and operationalizing that. And here's what I mean. Like you said, Tom, first of all, I admitted it. I mean, everybody knew that Jenks had never deployed. I had never deployed on a carrier with the squadron. So what's the point of acting like I know everything about it when everybody in the command knows that I had never even done it? Okay. So the first thing is like, hey, this is a big change for us. And guess what? I've never done this before, but I'm confident that we can do this. Okay. And so you're up front with your folks. And then operationalizing humility, what does that mean? Humility is confidence in what you know, awareness in what you know and what your strengths are, and awareness of what you don't know, what you might be missing, where you can still learn some things. And how you operationalize that is, first of all, as the leader, you model it. Hey, I'm really not sure about this, but I know, my brother down the hall, he is a carrier air wing squadron CO. I'm going to start talking to him. He's my new best friend. Okay. And I know that a year ago, this other command, they shifted from expeditionary to carrier air wing. That's also my best friend. Okay. So I'm modeling, hey, I'm going to go seek help. I'm not going to act like I know what I'm doing and lead us blindly down this path. I'm going to go seek help. And guess what, department heads, everybody else on my team, do it. If you're unsure, man, you should be working with someone else who's done this. Break out their checklist. How does this apply to us? What's different? Start asking those questions. And that was like principle number one, core value number one for our squadron, so that we could make this shift in how we operated. I'll pause there because, like I said, Tom, I mean, this was a big part of my command, so I could talk about it for a while. But what comes up for you, man?
I love the way you frame that, the humility piece, and I think there's a tie-in there to the or the way that lands with the audience. Let's name it. Let's call it what it is, right? You talked about fake it till you make it, and how that's not the way to go. There's a time and a place for that. Not here. The having humility, naming the thing. I've not done this before. That's okay. That actually builds trust. Unlike fake it till you make it, when your team can see through that, that destroys trust or erodes trust. Naming the thing and then confidently saying, we're going to navigate it together. That builds trust. Similarly, appreciating the impacts to your team on both a personal and professional level, I think, is key to navigating major organizational change. My Navy example that's top of mind is the change in a deployment timeline. With about a week's notice, we deployed 6 weeks earlier than scheduled. The whole squadron, and most of the squadron was away from our base on leave at the time. We had to reconstitute, very quickly accelerate timelines, and head out. And it was hard. It was hard for me personally. I was on vacation with my family. I knew it would be similarly hard for other people who had trips planned that were going to get canceled. I knew that there were financial impacts to that. I knew that there were childcare issues wrapped up in all of that. And so, will that stuff resolve? Yes. Should I expect it to resolve? Probably. But it's also okay to say, hey, everybody, this is hard. I know there will be impacts, right? Name it. Show your people that you understand the knothole they're about to be ripped through because of this major change. That humanizes it, right? To some of the phrasing you used, it humanizes it. It shows humility, and it also shows awareness. And at the end of the day, I believe builds confidence from your team. And so, it is, yes, as the leader, do you need to be thinking about the big picture blocks and Can we make our deadline? What does the new org chart look like? Of course. Don't forget the human side as well. What would you say is how would you characterize the leader's role during major change? And I think we've hit on a lot of these. Are there others that come up for you?
Well, first and foremost, I think the leader has to demonstrate that they are also engaging in the new expected behaviors. I couldn't expect the whole squadron to begin shifting how we operate and have the carrier airwing mentality and mindset if I was still doing everything the way we had done before. Hey, this is how I used to do it as an expeditionary person, so I'm going to keep doing it this way. Oh, but wait, Skipper, aren't we supposed to be making this shift to air wing life, right? So I think, leading by example and demonstrating the behavior. So to change, I mean, I don't know the exact definition that we would use, but I would think that change is going to imply your behaviors are going to be different. Your actions are going to be a little bit different. The way you think about things are going to be a little bit different. So I think the leader needs to demonstrate that they are also willing to do this. And I think, you got to lead by example. You got to kind of be first and with, right? So, okay, the expectation is here's how we're going to start doing this. All right. And yes, you're probably going to have a huge end state. And then for a major change like this, sure, you're going to break this down, right? Like your team's going to break it down into manageable chunks, right? So I'm not really talking about all the logistics. What I'm talking about is, okay, once we're doing that and now we're on this path, we're executing that plan, the leaders got to be demonstrating that they're changing their behaviors as well and bringing folks along with, right? And holding the standard and really like helping to develop the immediate reports, depending on how big your team is, helping to develop the close circle who you're interacting with every day as the leader and then who you're interacting with once a week. And right, they have to also be on, you have to bring them with you. And that is likely going to involve some development, some 2 steps forward and a step back. Right. You're going to walk with them is the first thing that comes to mind to me, Tom. Anything else?
No, I think you hit the ones that I was thinking about. I guess maybe we haven't said it explicitly, so I will add being visible, right? Not disappearing. I think it's implied in a lot of what we're talking about. Um, you can't drop the change bombshell and then go hide in your office. Uh, and again, I think we implied that. Um, yeah, this is totally doable, and I think Jenks that the teams that struggle with this don't struggle because of the size or scope of the change. They struggle because of the way it's communicated. And sure, sometimes it's out of that leader's control. Perhaps it was pushed down from higher, but at some level, there was poor communication that led to a breakdown, and um, it probably the issue is largely emotional in nature, not logistic, not pay based. It's emotion, it's personal, and things are unclear, and that's why people struggle with change.
Yeah, something
What do
to
you go ahead? No, go ahead.
well, I was just thinking that what if like imagine you had a different mindset. So it might be helpful to kind of paint the picture of what this could look like if you have to change. If you as the leader believe that you're the leader, so you should have all the answers. You're the leader. Everybody expects you to know exactly what to do. What if that's what you believe? How does that change? How would that change your behavior in the way that you approach leading a big change like this? Something that maybe you actually have never experienced and you do not have all the answers for, but you believe that, hey, I'm a leader, so therefore I'm supposed to know it all. I'm supposed to have all the answers.
I don't think anybody can have all the answers. That's a strongly held belief, um, off on my part. So with that as kind of my frame of reference, I think that a leader that finds themselves believing that should challenge their own assumptions. And, for me, if I get to that place, I like to go to my personal board of advisors, right? My squad. And for me, that's Green Squad. That's you and the rest of the folks from Green Squad. And there I've got a safe place that I can share my concerns. I can be arrogant. I can be sad. I can be whatever I need to be, whatever I am in the moment, and ask for some unfiltered, unbiased perspective, challenge, suggestion to help me navigate this thing that I'm feeling. I do it all the time. I've done it as recently as last weekend. And that for me allows me to work through some of those thoughts because while I do have that strongly held belief that I'm not supposed to know everything, when I do approach some major change, I probably still put too much pressure on myself to have all the answers, even though objectively I know that I can't, don't, won't ever have all the answers. And having that relief valve, those thinking partners helps me navigate it. So that's what I would say. That's what I say to myself, and so certainly I'd share that with others. Well, what about you?
Yeah, it's easy to fall into, oh, I got this. No, I haven't seen this exactly before, but I know that I can do this. Oh, um, like if you believe you know all those answers, it's like maybe I'm not seeking out advice. I'm not seeking different perspectives from the like I talked about earlier. Hey, that my new best friend down the hall, that commanding officer who's in charge of an air wing squadron, or the one who led another expeditionary squadron during their transition. If I already believe I'm supposed to have all the answers, then I might be assuming, oh man, if I go to them, I'll look weak. They'll think I don't know what I'm doing. That'll make it up to my boss. Okay. Or my squadron, oh, they're going to know that I don't know what I'm doing. They're going to lose faith in me. So I don't ask anyone. I just keep stay in my bubble, keep moving forward. And then I start to notice, oh, wait, things are breaking down. We're making mistakes. We're nowhere near where we need to be. So, right, you're starting to feel the heat, feel the weight. And what you said, man, is like if you notice that as a leader, dude, having somebody else, having Green Squad, having the ready rooms that we've created with Leadership Ready Room, I mean, that's what we're talking about. Like, imagine, imagine the confidence. I mean, the confidence I have to move forward with transition out of the military, start my own business, move forward with that confidently. It it stems from my knowing that every week I'm meeting with my board of advisors, so to speak, right? Our Ready Room Zero, Green Squad. Um, and I can bounce ideas off them. I can seek other perspectives. I can like, hey, they can ask me some questions and help me think through this. Is it, making this transition? Who have you talked to who's done this before? Like, oh, good idea. I guess I should probably be seeking out other people who maybe have done this before. Like, I cannot overstate the value of having a board of advisors, a group like that, who's there for each other. And you're going to be there to help them, by the way, through when they're going through these same types of issues and they're leading their teams through change. If you, maybe the signal, it's like, what's the signal? How does a leader know, Tom? How does a leader know? Like they've got this change, something's going on. How do they know? What's the signal to like stop trying to act like you know it all and reach out? What is that?
There's probably some variation there, Brandon. I think some of the popular ones, or some of the common ones rather, would be an inability to manage stress, right? I think most people that are, this generic leadership group, not generic, but this leadership group which we're talking about, are generally people that can handle large volumes of work and large amounts of stress. And for me, it shows up with all of a sudden little things are stressing me big time. Things that shouldn't move the needle on my stress feel like major hurdles. That's my signal, and I'm probably not alone in feeling, in having that be my signal, if you will. Um, yeah. You have thoughts on those signals?
Yeah, I do. Similar to you, agitated with little things that normally wouldn't really agitate me. I'm a pretty patient guy, right? So you have to know yourself. So I know that in general, I'm patient. I don't, unless we're talking life or death, I don't need to move super fast. But when I start feeling antsy, like I need to be doing something. But I don't know what it is, or I'm agitated because, my daughter did something that I didn't quite agree with, and all of a sudden, I get agitated with her. And I normally wouldn't because I'm normally patient, right? I get a feeling too of just, I mean, it's the self awareness, Tom, but like I know when I am just like spinning my wheels. I think if you're honest with yourself and you're like, I don't have any idea the next step to take, instead of faking it, I need to ask for help. Um, yeah, so that's not super tangible, other than like you start to get agitated with the things that normally wouldn't agitate you. But maybe it starts with just be honest with yourself, man. Like, like don't fake it till you make it. At least not like in the privacy of your office or your own room. If Be honest with yourself, and if you need help, go find it. I'm not saying you got to run out and just the next day you go out and get the team together and you just start, spilling your guts and saying you don't know what's going on or anything like that. That seems scary. I know that can seem scary to a leader to do. I'd be scared. I wouldn't want to do that immediately. Like that wouldn't be my instinct. But you be honest with yourself. Find somebody, right? Find somebody you can reach out to.
Before we wrap it up, Jakes, I know we're getting short on time. I have one more thought around this. It's particular to this current vein we're in. As I've navigated change recently in my business, I have used ChatGPT as a thought partner. And I have been more honest, more raw, more unfiltered with this computer than I have with many of the people that are close to me, because it feels safer. Maybe it doesn't to everybody. However, for me, can you still hear me?
Yeah. Yep.
For me, it has allowed me to just think deeply and share openly without fear of being judged. Because for right or wrong, I don't think I can be judged by the computer, right? By the AI, by the large language model. And so that has given me a sense of safety to just really tap into what I'm feeling on a deep level. And I have found some benefit to doing that. It's probably less about the feedback that I get from the large language model than it is about truly sharing what I'm feeling, sharing what I'm thinking openly. Thanks for letting me share that. I'll kick it back to you.
Yeah, of course. I think it's a good place to double click, right? I use ChatGPT as well to help me reflect, think through something, help me surface blind spots, right? I use it primarily when I don't have easy access to another human who I would trust in the same way. Um, when I don't, for those times in between when we meet as a squad, for those times in between when I can jump on the phone with you one on one, when I can get on the phone with my coach. Okay. So I in no way look at ChatGPT as like a replacement for human connection, because it's nowhere near there for me. However, yes, absolutely, I will reflect with my AI to just help me think through something, prepare for something. You can like go through a difficult conversation with it. you can practice things like that, and it can help you reflect on things for sure. Absolutely. And I still do not get anywhere near the benefit I get when I know that there's another human across the table from me, or when I'm in the room with the other leaders that we have around us in our weekly meetings. And when they ask me questions and they're sitting with me, I know it's coming from another human who actually cares about me and wants to see me succeed. And there's just something about that, that human connection, right? That I think is so incredibly valuable for us as leaders, especially in this day and age, for us to kind of maintain that connection, that tether to that. Because I believe that our teams, the teams that we lead more than ever now, and only going to get exponential moving down the road, they want a leader who can connect with them on a human level. Yeah, the AI is going to help with all this other stuff, but man, if the people on my team don't care about me, can't connect with me, there's still going to be a void there, and you're not going to unlock all the potential of yourself and your team without it. So that brings us to kind of close for this week, and also brings us to, hey, if you're interested in getting a room with other leaders like this, who care, like I was just talking about for the last 2 minutes, please head over to leadershiprr.com or just reach out to me or Tom. You can shoot us a DM, reach out to us. We want to continue the conversation with you. This type of room with other leaders who get it, this connection, is what Leadership Ready Room is all about. And we would love to, if this resonates with you, we would love to continue the conversation with you. So with that, until next time on Leadership Ready Room Chats, out.